Have you ever wondered why you're not getting better? You read books, watch videos, work hard, but success seems so far away. Meanwhile, there are people out there who seem to need just one idea, one action to change their lives forever. It's not because you're not smart, it's not because you're lazy, it's because you haven't been exposed to the core principles that truly successful people use. There's a man who spent over 20 years of his life trying to figure it out. He interviewed over 500 of the world's most successful people, from Henry Ford to Thomas Edison to Andrew Carnegie. And he distilled it all into a system so simple and effective that it can completely change the way you think and act about money and success. His name is Napoleon Hill. And in this video, I will share 7 golden principles from his masterpiece, Think and Grow Rich, that most people still don't really understand. Ready? Because after this video, you will no longer look at success the same way. Napoleon Hill was not a wealthy businessman, nor was he a genius inventor, but he was the person that the most powerful tycoons in America in the early 20th century chose to pass on the secret of success. It all started with a historic conversation between him and Andrew Carnegie, the famous steel tycoon of that time. Carnegie posed a challenge. If I gave you the opportunity to interview the 500 most successful people in America, would you dare to spend 20 years of your life to find a formula for success that everyone can learn and apply? Napoleon Hill nodded without a penny of compensation. It was just a strong belief that if he could convey those principles, he would help millions of ordinary people change their lives. And it was true. After 20 years of research, meeting people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Hill published a revolutionary book, Think and Grow Rich. This is not a get-rich-quick book. It is not just about money. It is a blueprint for success in any area of life. Hill does not teach you to be smarter, luckier, or work harder. He teaches you how to think right, because thinking is the foundation of all actions and results. And the best thing? Those principles are still valid today. If there is one thing that makes up the starting point of all success, it is not talent. Nor is it luck. It's a desire so intense that you can't sit still. Napoleon Hill calls it burning desire. Imagine you want to be successful, but you only want it on a vague level, like, I hope to be rich someday, or I wish I had a better life. Hill says, those are just wishful thinking. They don't motivate you to act. They have no power. True desire isn't something you say. It's an undeniable feeling inside. It's when you're willing to do anything as long as it's ethical to achieve your goals. It's when you refuse to accept failure as an outcome. Thomas Edison tried more than 10,000 times to create the light bulb because he had desire. Henry Ford went bankrupt twice before he created the common man's car because he had desire. And most importantly, Hill doesn't say that everyone is born with it, but he does say that anyone can cultivate it. How? Start by writing down, what do you want? What are you willing to give up? How long do you want it? And what actions will you take each day to get closer to it? No wish to get rich will ever come true if you want it half-heartedly. But if you want it like you want air to breathe, then you've activated one of the most powerful forces in human nature. And from there, you can move on to the second principle, faith. Because no one can keep the fire burning for long if they don't believe they can do it. If desire is the first spark, then faith is the fire that keeps that desire burning. Without faith, any goal can easily become a burden. Any failure quickly turns into self-condemnation. Napoleon Hill asserted, faith is the factor that turns thoughts into reality. But this is not blind faith or unfounded optimism. It is a belief that is cultivated every day by positive thoughts, by affirmations, by clear images of the results you want to achieve. Do you remember when you were a child, just believing in something, you could act fearlessly? Hill believes that we adults still have that ability if we know how to reprogram our minds. And the best way to do that? Repeat positive images, positive affirmations about your goals every day. You don't wait until you feel confident to start. It's the belief rehearsal that creates confidence. You can't go far if you're always doubting yourself. Acting without faith is like building a house on sand. It will collapse when the storm comes. And absolute faith doesn't mean not being afraid. It means daring to act even though you're still afraid, because action will strengthen your faith every day. And once you have a strong belief, you need a tool to direct that energy in the right direction. Clear verbal affirmations. That's the next principle. Autosuggestion. Did you know that your mind doesn't differentiate between something that's actually happening and something that's been recited over and over again in your head? That's the power of autosuggestion. Napoleon Hill calls this the bridge between the conscious and the subconscious. Simply put, if you tell yourself something enough times with enough emotion, then your subconscious will accept it as true. Imagine this. If every morning you wake up and say to yourself, "I'm not good enough, I can't succeed," then what will happen after a few months? You will act exactly like that. And conversely, if you dare to stand in front of the mirror and say to yourself, "I deserve to succeed, I can do it, I am getting closer to my goal every day," then your brain will start to take note and adjust in that direction. Autosuggestion is not a magic spell, it is a mind programming tool. And like any tool, it only works if you use it correctly and regularly. Hill suggests, write your goal down clearly on paper, read it aloud twice a day, morning and night. But don't just read it like a machine. Feel the words, imagine yourself living the results. Because it is the emotions that carry the message straight to the subconscious. Autosuggestion is how you plant seeds in your mind. And if you plant them right and fertilize them regularly, then your actions, your beliefs, and your results all will change. And to plant the right seeds, you need to know exactly what you want. That's where the fourth principle comes in, specialized knowledge. Have you ever heard the saying, know many things but good at nothing? Napoleon Hill believed that knowledge is not power until it is organized, arranged, and used in the right place. And the kind of knowledge that can transform your life is not general knowledge, but specialized knowledge. Imagine you want to become rich in real estate, but you know nothing about the market, the legal process, or how to negotiate. No matter how much you desire, how much you believe, how many positive affirmations you read, you still can't take effective action. Specialized knowledge is the key to turning desire into real results. It's the specific kind of knowledge that you can apply immediately to solve a problem, create value, or create an advantage for yourself. And the great thing is, you don't have to know it all. You just have to figure out what you need and then learn it, or partner with someone who has it. Henry Ford was criticized for not being highly educated, but he said, "I can push a button and call up any expert I need." That's the wisdom of successful people. So ask yourself, what do you want to achieve? What do you need to know? What skills do you need to master? Who do you need to know? And where do you need to learn from? Because after you have desire, belief, self-suggestion, then professional knowledge is what will determine whether you act correctly or are just busy for the sake of it. And if you want to turn knowledge into results, you need another extremely powerful tool, imagination. Principle number 5. After you have desire, belief, repetition through self-suggestion, and a foundation of professional knowledge, then the next thing you need is the projector of the mind, imagination. Napoleon Hill said that every success begins with an idea. But ideas do not fall by themselves. They are born in the minds of those who dare to imagine what has never existed. Imagination is where you experiment. It is where you see the future before it appears in real life. Others call you a dreamer? All the better, because most successful people have been called that. There are two types of imagination that Hill refers to. Generative imagination, where you arrange what you already know into a new idea, and creative imagination, where unheard of ideas pop up from your subconscious, sometimes in a quiet moment. Steve Jobs once said, "Creativity is just connecting things." The question is, do you spend time visualizing every day? Do you really have a clear picture of what your goal will look like, sound like, feel like? Do you let your imagination guide your actions? Because imagination is not something far away. It is a tool to build the blueprint before you start building your own building of success. And once you have the blueprint in your head, you need to turn it into a concrete plan. That's where principle number 6 comes in, organized planning. You have an idea. You have imagined what you want to achieve. But if you don't turn all that into a concrete plan, it's all just an illusion. Napoleon Hill said it clearly. No plan equals no action. and no action equals no results. Imagine you want to build a house. You have a beautiful blueprint in your head, that's your imagination. You have all the knowledge and tools, but you don't have a plan for how to build each part, each step. What happens? Mess, failure. And finally, giving up. Organized planning means you clearly define, what do I need to do today, this week, this month? Who will support me? In what order will I take action? And if plan A fails, do you have a plan B? Hill is particularly emphatic. Successful people never wait for perfection before starting. They start with the simplest plan and continually adjust as they get real-world feedback. If you don't know where to start with a group. Find a mastermind group. People who can plan with you, support you, and hold you accountable. Action without a plan is a waste of energy. A plan without action is meaningless. But when these two things are combined, you have a recipe for success. And to make sure you don't give up halfway, you need the next principle, decisiveness, one of the rarest qualities of successful people. Principle number 7. You have a goal, a clear vision, a plan of action. But there will be times when you are challenged. There will be days when you doubt yourself. And that's when this principle becomes the ultimate shield to protect your dreams, the power of decisiveness and persistence. Napoleon Hill studied hundreds of successful people, and he discovered successful people make decisions quickly and change slowly. Unsuccessful people do the opposite, hesitate, procrastinate, change direction constantly for fear of being wrong. Every time you hesitate, you're not just losing opportunities, you're losing confidence in yourself. Conversely, when you're decisive, you build a kind of mental strength that makes others believe in you too. But just deciding isn't enough. You have to persist. Persistence is when you take action, when things don't work out. It's when you keep going, even after being rejected for the 5th, 10th, or 20th time. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he invented the light bulb. If he stopped at the 9,999th time, we might still be sitting in the dark today. Where do you stand? Will you make a decision and persevere to the end? Or will you let a small failure destroy your lifelong dream? Because in the end, it is not the best person who wins, but the most persistent person who refuses to give up. And when you deeply understand that, you have crossed the threshold to become one of the few people living according to the rich mindset. You have just gone through with me the 7 golden principles that Napoleon Hill painstakingly summarized from more than 500 of the most successful people in history. From burning desire, where all dreams begin, to absolute faith, the most powerful spiritual fuel you can create for yourself. Then comes self-suggestion, a tool to reprogram the subconscious mind, transforming thoughts into actions. You learn not just to learn, but to learn selectively with expertise, and to use your imagination to turn information into ideas. You understand that dreaming is not enough. You must have a clear plan of organization. Every step must be calculated and acted upon. And finally, it is determination and persistence that are the 2 pillars that keep you from giving up when things get toughest. These 7 principles are not just theories, they are maps. But only when you actually take steps will you reach your destination. Don't just listen and feel good. Pick a principle that you haven't really lived by and take action today. Because you don't have to be a genius, you just need to think right, be brave to start, and keep moving forward. Think and Grow Rich is not a book, it's a way of life. Now, what will you do next? Success doesn't wait too long. Now it's time to take action. Take 3 minutes. Grab a pen and paper or open the notes on your phone. Write down. What is your greatest desire in life? Do you truly believe you can achieve it? If not, how do you nurture that belief? What is the first thing you can do in the next 24 hours? Don't just listen and then go back to your old life. Write it down, think it through, and start today. Read what you wrote at least once every day. It's the simplest yet most powerful way to self-suggest, to plant a seed in your subconscious. If you do this consistently for 30 days, I promise you will never be the same person again. Napoleon Hill never said, think and pray. He said, think and grow rich. Think right, act consistently, and you will see magic. No magic, just start. If you find these 7 principles really resonate with you, don't let them pass you by. Hit that subscribe button, because there are many more valuable thoughts from Napoleon Hill and other success masters waiting for you to discover. But most importantly, share this video with at least one person who is wavering, lost. It might be the spark they need. Finally, remember this. Success doesn't come to the smartest person. It comes to the one who dares to believe, dares to start, and never gives up. You know the secret. Now it's time to turn it into real results. The journey to rich thinking starts with you. Today,